Hello and welcome all into the MO podcast. As always, you're here with me, Consummatious Ant.
And me, Shreya.
And today we are going to discuss if murder is really justified with the case of Ken Rex McElroy.
Oh, okay. I was thinking, wait, this is the full generalized topic. Oh, this opens a can of worms, Ant. Is murder justified? I
know a lot of people who listen to this will be going, well, if it's you, Ant, yeah. But
we all have that co-worker that we know that would be justified.
Exactly, yeah. I personally, I'd like to say yes, but then it's down to individual people, and when you watch the news, it's not very of people's actions, the general public. It's no, I wouldn't trust them to make a decision, really.
No.
So just before we get started, it does contain strong subject matter. So obviously it's murder, but it's also about paedophilia as well, basically. So
we're a disclaimer episode.
Yeah, just so
we're at that stage.
Forewarned on it, because it does get icky, and I didn't really want to cover it, but it is interesting, and it does open up a good discussion about whether people should be taking action into their own hands. But as we'll see, I'm behind these people that did whatever they did.
You've already given the game away now.
Yeah.
Is murder justified? Yes.
Pretty much, yeah.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Yeah.
See you next
See
week.
you next week. Bye. But no, there is a story behind it, and it's easy to go, oh yeah. There is the case of the guy in World War One who had Hitler in his sights and he didn't pull the trigger, and how would the world have been after that kind of thing. So, it's a bit of a different situation because it's war, and then murder is justified, but this guy kind of didn't know what was going to happen, obviously, and he had a little bit of a heart of gold, but
it's a lot of responsibility being the guy that shot Hitler, though.
Well,
I don't know whether I'd be okay with that level of responsibility.
Well,
your life wouldn't be your own after that, would it? That's it.
Well,
you'd be that guy.
Yeah, but if that guy shot him when he shot him, then we wouldn't have known who Hitler was. He'd just be another dead World War One person, wouldn't he?
Oh, was this right? Okay.
Yeah, so it was in World War One when Hitler was
right.
injured, and he was going across the no man's land, trying to get back to his barracks. He was injured, and the sniper had him in his sights, and he chose not to pull the trigger. I can't for the life of me remember his name, but it is kind of a well-documented case, because obviously, what a knobhead, why didn't he? But
there just would have been some other douchebag, dictator, fascist dude. There was always Goebbels.
Exactly.
There was Himmler.
Yeah, there was
Mengele.
Yeah.
So
there was enough of them. He was just a figurehead, really.
Exactly. There was a whole wave of douchebags. Hitler is replaceable.
Exactly. Yeah. Never has the word douchebags been so succinct when you describe it a Nazi.
I'm just being family friendly.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, give it a while. We'll see how family friendly this gets.
For the record, kids, Nazis are douchebags.
Yeah, just in case you didn't know. Yeah. So, Ken Rex McElroy. Now, he was born in 1934, and he was the 14th of 15 children, and he was brought up in Missouri, and obviously having that many mouths to feed, he didn't have a great upbringing, let's say. He dropped out of school at the age of 15, and he hadn't learnt to read or write as of that point. He just didn't find education something for him. And obviously legitimate
it's
work...
not for me.
Yeah, he just went, nah, I'm not doing this.
It's not for me.
Yeah, and because of this attitude, legitimate work wasn't something he was ever going to take seriously. So he started hog and cattle rustling, in which he'd pull up at a farm in the dead of night in his truck, and he'd just, like, steal a cow or a pig that he could sell on to people that wouldn't ask any questions.
That'll work.
Yeah, I mean, it actually did for him. He was quite... I'm not going to say good at it, but he made quite a decent living at it, and he always had a roll of money on him. He was well known around town for having a wad of cash, and one time he did actually cover the pool table in the local bar in $100 bills just to kind of show off and flex, I suppose. Yeah.
Wow. What you would talk of.
Yeah. He tried to hide the fact that he was up to no good by leasing out his own land that he had, and he was a dog breeder. He trained hunting dogs, which he was very, very good at, apparently, and he also claimed to run an antique business. But whether these antiques were stolen or he just, like, made them up, I genuinely don't know, but it wasn't all above board. So this is kind of where it gets a little bit sketchy now, and in fairness, the info is a little bit spotty, but there's a 1955 report in the paper that he was charged with the rape of a 14-year-old girl. McElroy was 21 at the time, and the charge was thrown out as the girl was the only witness to this, and he married her so she couldn't testify against him.
What? I mean...
Yeah.
How did he marry her, though? Like, she could... You know when the priest does that thing where he goes, and do you, a girl who has just been raped by this crazy-ass douchebag, take this crazy-ass douchebag to be your loving, wedded husband until death do you part? Why didn't she just go, no, actually, no thanks. I'm all right. See ya. Yeah,
I mean, all I'm going to say on that is it's not the Deep South, but the Mid-South in the 50s. It wasn't a great place, you know. They still probably had the Confederacy. I mean, well, they've still fucking got it today, so Jesus.
I know, but what would, like... That makes me a little bit dubious that she was raped. You don't generally go on and marry the man that rapes you. She's
14, so legally it doesn't really matter whether she said yes, no, or other. She's underage. She's a child, and she's not allowed to make informed decisions. I will like do air quote marks on saying married on that one. On all of them, but I think you'll find out in a minute as to why the women and the families that were involved were so, I'm not going to say accepting, but they let it happen, let us say.
Okay.
So he, I mean, you know.
Did he have a cute dog? He did have cute dogs, didn't he? Because he used to train hunting dogs. That'll be what it was.
Right, just remember that you said that actual statement there, because in about 5 minutes you're going to go, oh, fuck.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah.
Enlighten me.
So, apparently, amazingly enough, he was quite a terrible husband, and he used to beat this child and obviously have his way with her. She had 2 children to him. And just after the birth of the second child, McElroy found another child, 13 years old, that he wanted to make his wife. And he moved her in to the house that he was living in with his current wife. That
isn't legal either.
Yeah.
This is like a whole load of Fred West kind of shit.
Yeah. And it don't get any better.
God.
So, between the two of these children, they gave birth to 7 kids.
Jesus Christ.
And he then found another one who was his official second wife. See, it's very spotty about the wives and whatever, but there were at least 4 children involved with... He made 4 children be involved with him, let's say.
And this is like his early 20s.
Yeah. So he was 21 when he... quotes, married his first one. I think he was 25 when he met the second child, and now he's getting up into 30-ish. So his official second wife, he got pregnant pretty much straight away, and she gave birth to a boy, and then he met his final paramour, let us say, who follows him to the end, and she was called Trina McLeod, and apparently he would follow the school bus that she was on, driving erratically and forcing it to pull over so she could get off, and he would take her home. She was 12 years old at the time. Yeah. By the time she was 14, she was pregnant and living at the McElroy home with his official second wife, who's called Alice, and 8 of McElroy's children that he had procured over time.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So just after Trina gave birth, she decided enough was enough, and Alice, who is his official second wife, and Trina decided to move out, run away, get away from him. They moved back in with Trina's parents, and let's just say Ken's got a bit of a temper, and he wasn't really happy. So he went to visit the parents, and he shot a parent's dog.
What?
Yeah, see, so now the nice dog statement is yeah.
Murder is justified.
Yeah.
Case closed.
And just in case the message hadn't got across, he burnt down the parents' house.
I'm angrier at the dog.
Yeah, I know. It's not going to end there, don't worry.
Oh, for God. You didn't even prep me for this shit.
I know, yeah, sorry.
God's sake.
It's raw.
I needed the disclaimer.
Yeah.
Okay, hell.
I mean, he gets shot, so he dies. That's the best thing I can say.
It sounds too quick for me.
Yeah, no. So, basically, after he burnt down the house, he grabbed both Alice and Trina, and he beat the living crap out of them so badly that Trina needed medical care. Wow. So she went to the hospital, and the doctor, obviously, because she'd been beaten, and because she was still a child, he got social services involved, and Trina was taken into foster care. McElroy was charged with arson, rape, and brandishing a deadly weapon. And while his lawyer delayed the trial, McElroy did what he kind of enjoyed doing and did best. He went round and intimidated the witnesses. He went back, shot the dog again.
What the...
Now, I don't know. I couldn't find out if it was the same dog or a new dog. But he shot it again. and he went and waited outside the foster family's house that Trina was staying at all hours of the night, just staring. When he actually spoke to the parents, he said that he would swap a girl for a girl and told them that he knew the bus route that their actual daughter got and the school that she went to. So he's kind of insinuating that he's going to kidnap their daughter to get Trina back.
What?
So now at this point, I think you're all going, yeah, murder is kind of justified. But this is just the tip of the fucking iceberg with this guy, right? Trina eventually went back to the McElroy homestead and he married her because a spouse can't be forced to testify against a spouse. And all the charges were dropped. So... I think it's like at this point we need to jump in and go, hang on a minute, how, why, where, and who?
How can they drop charges? Like, how can by law they drop charges when the wedding isn't even legal to start with?
It's the appellations. Do you know what I mean? It's
just then surely there's no law in general.
So this is part of the whole thing about this. I mean, we'll talk about... McElroy's lawyer was called Richard Gene McFadden, and apparently he was a mob lawyer out of Kansas City. So basically, he knew all... I'm not going to say the tricks of the trade.
The dirty tricks.
Yeah, exactly. He knew how to work within the law, using the law to get people off. Well, the bad people. So he'd use correct. Like, I can't really. He took the money, but when you're a defense attorney, do you have any morals? Do you just take the money? You've got a duty to uphold your client. Do you know what I mean? In that kind of respect. But he used everything within the law to help him, whereas outside of court, he just went, no, I didn't know Ken was sat outside their foster family's house with a loaded shotgun for 6 hours while looking eerily at their daughter. Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what it is, right? Phoenix Wright never had to defend anybody like this. I don't know what you would do.
Well, exactly. Like, God, you're not only the clown, you're the whole circus. So
I never thought about it like this.
Yeah.
Given that I know so much about serial killers, I never actually thought, oh yeah, they have their own Phoenix Wrights. Huh.
This is it as well. And they work, like, there's nothing, lawyers can't do anything illegal, obviously, because it wouldn't be, like, no judge is going to go, well, you're breaking the law in court, what the fuck are you doing? Kind of thing. But if he
the destruction of evidence is illegal. They're just like, I didn't do it though.
Yeah, but if he can keep
evidence you got?
These people out of jail and these people are free to walk around, they don't know that they're walking around outside the witness's house with a loaded gun, do they?
This is true.
So it's kind of teamwork on both these parts. Obviously, he knows what's going on. He just doesn't care because it's nothing to do with him at the end of the day, and he's being paid. And the McFadden did say he loved working with McElroy because he always paid in cash, and he did exactly what I told him to in court. So
he's still a douchebag.
Oh well, with 100%. But he was just doing his job. Now, we can hark back to the Nazis and say, yeah, that's what they said at the Nuremberg trials. I was just following orders. I was just doing my job. It's whether you've got a conscience or not that comes into it. And lawyers don't. So,
you know what it is, though? I think, like, when it comes to war and stuff, like, I think probably a lot of the... Because everybody forgets, this was in Captain America. Everybody forgets that the first country that Hitler invaded was Germany, was his own. And I think maybe that a lot of those kind of people were blackmailed into joining up and doing horrible things because their families would have been hurt. Do you know what I mean? If somebody said to you, I'm going to murder your children if you don't do this, you would do it.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, as well with the Nazis, I mean, you have to think it was they'd suffered horrible economic losses after the First World War. They'd lost territory. It was just after the Great Depression as well. So people needed to eat. People needed jobs. And if you've got someone offering you that, and as well, they had the black shirts out on the street that would round up anyone that said a bad word against the Nazis. So it's kind of like, I'm just going to blinkered. I'm just doing this. I'm not getting involved. This is just my job. I just do this. That's it.
You just want to protect yourself and your family. Do you know what I mean? Like
exactly. You've got
to see it from like all angles, haven't you?
Yeah, we've all got to put food on the table.
Yeah.
You know, and. It is what it is.
But this guy has no excuse.
Oh God, no. He's a lawyer. He's been on the bar, and later on in life, he was he did lobbyist work for the Senate as well. So he did rise up through the ranks.
I wonder how that occurred.
Yeah. And he did. McFadden got McElroy acquitted of 21 charges over 2 decades.
What? Wow.
No, it's like 1 a year, but they're felony charges. Never mind misdemeanors and stuff. So McElroy never saw the inside of a jail.
Well, thank God this lawyer wasn't around when Gary Glitter was about.
Oh, Jesus Christ. God in heaven.
That's all I can say.
Yeah. So...
things could have turned out very differently.
Yeah, definitely. So... 21 charges over 2 decades. So you've got to think that these people out there around the where he's living, which was Skidmore which is just north of Kansas City in Missouri, who
sounds like a charming place.
Yeah, who had been wronged by him. One of the charges that he did get off on was he shot a farmer after the farmer tried to chase him off his own land.
Right.
So McElroy was on this farmer's land trying to steal... I don't know if he was trying to steal, but he was on this farmer's land without proper authority. The farmer went, "Hey, what you doing?" and got shot.
And he shot. Wow.
And then McElroy
got let
off. So,
wow.
Obviously, you can only imagine what this community's been through. This guy is a bully. He's stealing from local people. He doesn't care. He just shows up. So, there's a tension there already. And for the locals, the police are doing nothing. The justice system isn't doing anything for them. And they've had this time and time again. And then in 1980, this is where it all kind of came to a head. So, Trina was shopping at the local store, which was run by 70-year-old Ernest Bobo and Camp and his wife Lois. And one of the children that Trina was with was accused of shoplifting. Now, Bo's daughter has said that it was a misunderstanding. They knew shoplifting happened because people were down on the luck. You know, they didn't expect it, but they had like a certain leeway with it. So she said they never directly accused her of shoplifting. It was just the case of the kid may have took some sweets and walked off without even acknowledging it, kind of thing. But Trina saw this in a different kind of way. And so bear in mind, Trina's grown up now. She's no longer a kid, but she's been under the yoke of McElroy since she was a child. So she's been moulded by him.
Has she gone over to the dark side?
Well, exactly. I mean, it's a common theme in abused wives, especially when they start so young that they kind of look on their abuser as oh no, he didn't mean to do it, it wasn't like that kind of thing.
That's Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, with in Trina's case as well, she's gone on record saying when McElroy burnt down her parents' house. She said, no, it was faulty wiring. It wasn't. He didn't do it. There must have been faulty wiring in the house. So
he was stood outside with a blowtorch and a stack of hay.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, it was faulty wiring.
Yeah. So she's smitten by him or whatever. He's got control over her. But she was pissed off at this. So she went and told McElroy, and McElroy saw his ass big time, and he drove back to the store and he threatened Bo and Lois, and apparently he offered Lois money to fight Trina. Now bear in mind she's 60 odd and Trina's 20ish, so wasn't really gonna happen.
Did she just say like no thanks?
You're all right.
Yeah.
I'll leave that one.
What did he think she was going to say? How much?
Yeah, that was what have you
50?
got?
100? Bring her on.
250.
Get that bitch in here.
But yeah, so they thought it had ended there. Bo and Lois thought that had ended there. But McElroy started to stalk the family, and he'd be outside the store every night when they closed. And one night, when Bo was unloading goods at the back, McElroy went up to him and shot him through the neck with a shotgun.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really precise to shoot him through the neck with a shotgun. I mean...
Well, he just went straight up to him and just went bang.
That would have blown the whole top half of him away.
You would have thought so, but miraculously, Bo survived.
What? How shit a shot was McElroy?
Yeah. It entered into his neck, but rather, I think it got deviated on its way, so it didn't really hit anything, but it did.
It's a shotgun shell.
Exactly. It did mess him up big time. So... amazingly, I don't know why I'm saying amazingly, but McElroy was arrested by a state trooper who had run-ins with him, and when he found out this has happened, he knew which route he'd take, because he wouldn't go the direct route, he'd go the back roads and try and sneak out of town. So he was arrested, and I'm saying amazingly because McElroy had shot at police officers in the past, and nobody wanted to get involved with him. But this state, he arrested him, and he was charged with second-degree assault. Now, you may think second-degree assault isn't that big a deal when you could be charged for attempted murder and whatnot. But the thing is because his lawyer was so slippery, and because they knew, the DA knew that he'd try and get out of this, he went for the thing that would get a conviction rather than anything he could wriggle out. Now, David Baird was the prosecutor of Nordway County, and he was 27 years old. He was just out of law school, like 2 years out of law school. He didn't know what he wanted to do, and the only reason he took the job of prosecuting attorney in Nordway County is because his father said, nothing ever happens around here anyway. And in 1981...
easiest job going.
Yeah, in 1981, he was sworn in, and literally a couple of weeks later, this was his first case. It's just so bizarre that all this happened. So he got the conviction. McElroy was convicted for second-degree assault, and he was sentenced to 2 years. Not a lot.
What?
Yeah. He spent one night in jail and then was posted out on a $40,000 bond. Now, if you know anything about bonds, you need to just pay 10% of that. So all he had to pay, put down, was $4,000, and he was out. And as he had money around all the time, he probably had some saved away for a rainy day and something like this.
I never understood, bail and bonds and stuff. Like, why do they even give criminals that option? Hey, we're going to lock you away, but if you've got lots of money, which it's incredibly likely that you have because you're a proper dodgy dealer, you could pay your way out. Just give us the money. And the criminals are like, yeah, sure, it's no skin off my nose, whatever.
Exactly. But then,
why did they give people that option?
Don't know. But then if you skip bail, then you've got dog after you. And the badass bounty hunter. Go with Christ, bro.
Yeah, but still low.
No, I know. It's down. I don't know how it works. I really don't know how it works, and I don't know why you don't have to post the full amount. Because
it's nuts, right?
Yeah, because obviously, I mean, what I don't know off the top of my head, but OJ was on bail, and he could obviously afford to pay the full amount of his, but it's still only 10%. And then if you go fucking missing, it's like, oh shit. Damn. At least you're making money if they fuck off and you get the maximum amount rather than just 10%. How pissed off would you be if he fucks off now and they're like, oh, we've lost out on like $36,000 there. I mean, he's got away, but we've got the money. So swings and roundabouts, isn't it?
Yeah, it's clearly they're like, yeah, let's make it a bit foolproof so that even if they do get out and get free, at least we get a little bit out of it.
Yeah.
There's just this is the justice system. Where's the justice?
Exactly. There is no justice. They're here, especially Jesus.
I hate this.
Yeah. It's starting to get better. It is starting to get better though. I say that.
Oh God!
As soon as he got out on bail, he went to the local tavern, McElroy, with a rifle with a bayonet attached to it.
One of his antiques.
Yeah, which is a detail which I thought, that's it. Why?
I mean, it's handy to have.
Yeah, if when you can drop your keys and you can't bother bending down, you just hook it through the bayonet, I suppose. But,
yes, exactly.
Yeah. So he started drinking in the tavern, and he was just shouting out loud how he was going to kill all the Bowen camps, not just Bo and Lois, but their children as well.
Wow.
So, as this was a clear violation of his bail, which he had only received hours earlier, he was reported. And, amazingly enough, his lawyer managed to delay the fucking bail hearing.
Oh my God. This guy's good.
So,
I've got to hand it to him, he's good.
So, yeah. And he was still out and about, and he was still a free man. And everyone's like shaking their head now. So what they did was, what the sheriff decided to do was have a town meeting. And he called all the residents who'd been affected by the actions of McElroy into the town hall meeting. And do you know what his suggestion was?
Bring your torch and pitchforks.
No, well, kind of. He said, why don't you all set up a neighbourhood watch? And he went, you're the sheriff. Why don't you do a fucking job?
Right, you set up a neighbourhood watch, bro.
Yeah, like, why don't you have some police round here?
It's called cops.
Yeah. What we paid our taxes for, man. Like, So this, I mean, that's what your sheriff is telling you. Like, you're basically saying we can't do anything about him because we're scared of him, so you do it. Then, what are you going to do? I mean, there was 446 residents of Skidmore County, and they didn't have a police force based in Skidmore County, but they had police there, and 200 people attended this meeting. So this was a meeting called together to deal with, or to find answers how to deal with McElroy. So 200 people were pissed off. That's just less than 50% of the population. So 200 people have got something to say about it, and the sheriff goes, it's on you. You're not just you're not pulling your weight. Come on, you need to invest in yourselves. And you go, right, well, guess what we're going to do?
You're on your own. Figure it out.
Yeah.
I'm going to turn a blind eye.
Yeah. So, as this as this town hall meeting was letting out, word got around that McElroy was again in the tavern drinking. Now, I was trying to figure out how would they know this quickly, like, because there's no phones, obviously, mobile phones or anything like that. So, but when McElroy was on trial for what he did to Bo Bowenkamp, the residents had set up a system. So when he was in the tavern, because everyone thought he was actually going to kill the Bowenkamps, so when he came into town, the residents had set up a system. So if he went into the tavern owner would send the children to the store and say, "Can we buy some paper towels?" And the Bowenkamps would know that he was in town.
That is suspicious as fuck, though. Could they not have said, like, could we buy some chewing gum? Or could we buy a slush puppy, please?
I don't know.
If a kid came in and went, "Can I buy some paper towels?" I'd be like, "You are up to no good."
Yeah, I don't know if it was exactly that, but there was they had kind of code words.
Oh, were you just generalising?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't know what the code word was, but they had.
Oh man!
I know, yeah. Like, what are you TPing? What are you doing? But this is how bad it had got that they had to set up their own jungle telegraph. These code words, sending their kids out, and the kids don't know what they're doing. They just go and buying like paper towels or candy or whatever.
Got more paper towels than I know what to do with here.
Why have we got?
What am I going to use all these for?
Who's been having kebabs? I don't understand. So word got back to the residents that were in this town hall meeting that McElroy was in the tavern and he was drinking and he was again saying, "Gonna do anything and everything to everyone." And about 40 of them went, "Nah, not having this." So 40 of them descended into the tavern and just all stood there looking at him while he's drinking. And this is Missouri, so people have got firearms on them. I don't know if it's open carry, it's state, but they're farmers. They work in the sticks. They've not got a police station, so what the fuck, it don't matter. So there were guns around, so they're just all silent, looking at him. I assume arms crossed, giving him the stink eye kind of thing. And he kind of got the message pretty quickly, and he drank up, bought a 6-pack of beer on his way out, and him and Trina got into their car. Now, the 40 residents followed them out onto the street, and they were just looking at him, and then all of a sudden, the shots rang out, and Trina was, I'd say rescued, but she was escorted out of the truck that they were in and taken away from the area. But McElroy was hit by bullets from two different guns. One was a rifle and one was a handgun, and the shots lasted for at least 20 seconds.
Wow, they wanted to make sure he was definitely dead. That is a double, triple tap.
Yeah. And
good call.
Not to make sure, but just to put the nail in the coffin, no one rang an ambulance. No one.
He sat there with like no arms, legs, or head, and they're like, "You all right? Do you think he's all right? I don't know. Looks a bit pale."
Yeah.
Let's not ring an ambulance just because I don't trust this guy. He could still not be dead.
Yeah.
He's got no head.
Give it a while. They didn't care so much so that when the police got there to investigate shots fired, his engine was still running because when he died, his foot slipped onto the accelerator. He was still in park, so he weren't moving. but his engine
Just using all his
was
fuel
still
up.
it was still revving, and
Add an insult to injury.
yeah. So there, he died there and then. And out of 46 potential witnesses, there was only Trina who gave evidence, and she actually named who she thought the killer was. Well, pretty much, she'd probably seen who it was. And do you know what? Not even going to name him because don't care. To be quite frank, I think this guy deserved to die. He was
Definitely.
He was bully, and he shot a dog twice.
Could have been 2 dogs.
Yeah, could have been 2 different dogs as well. I mean, you don't know
Yeah.
the amount of dogs he shot. That was the only ones we know about.
Exactly. He deserves to die just on that premise alone.
Yeah. So
Horribly.
yeah, no charges were ever brought against anyone in town, and even today, obviously, a lot of the people who were kind of involved in this have maybe passed on, or they're getting up there anyway. But no one's been charged, and no one's said anything. Trina,
Nothing. Kudos to those people.
yeah, exactly. That's it. It's like Bo Bowenkamp's daughter. She said, even if we knew, because obviously she wasn't part of this group, but she kind of knew it had happened. But she said, even if we knew who it was, we wouldn't say, just because of the amount of failures that we'd had. I mean, the justice system didn't do anything for them. They let this guy out. Granted, his lawyer worked the system, but the police didn't stand up for these people. The justice system didn't stand up for these people. The only thing they could do was stand up for themselves.
Yeah.
And they did. And
which is usually the way with bullies, let's face it.
Yeah, it is. You've got to give them
punch them back.
a square kick in the nuts, to be quite honest with you. And this guy was he was just a bully from start to finish. And I mean, Trina, she moved away and she got remarried, but she died at the age of 50-something from cancer. The person who was named to be the killer, and if you want to look, go and have a look, it's online. I'm not going to say his name because he wasn't charged, so I'm not going to associate his name with being a killer. He passed away in 2007, I think, or maybe a little bit later. So he's taken whatever secrets he's got to his grave. And the best news of all, the lawyer is dead as well.
Yay!
So yeah, I mean, there's certain...
That lawyer is in hell driving around in a shit Rover next to Hitler.
Yeah. Oh, he's just in the ground.
Okay.
But whatever.
My vision's more fun.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean... but like I said, yeah, he was just doing what he was doing. But whatever. I think
he was an asshole.
He certainly was an asshole, but it was his job. Whereas McElroy made the choice to be an asshole. If you know what I mean, he went out of his way to put people through misery, where the lawyer was just working with what he had. I don't know. I'm not trying to defend him in any way, shape, or form. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate.
Okay.
Kind of thing. I think there's arsehole 100%. But David Brad left office recently, and he as he signed the new case over to the new guy who took his office. I think he said, yeah, you're not going to solve this, really. And I think the new guy went, I'm not even going to try. To be quite frank.
Close the case.
Yeah.
Put it on the top shelf in the dusty cupboard.
Yeah. I mean, because there's no one, maybe McElroy's children, maybe that's why it could still be an active case, but no one is going to be trying solving this. I mean, I
can't imagine he was very nice to his kids either, let's face it.
Exactly.
He wasn't a very nice man. He was probably horrible to his kids as well.
This is the thing. So, I mean, do you want that? I mean, do you just want to disown that memory because he's gone now and then...
Just move on with your life and pretend he never existed.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that's what we all should do with these people. So, is murder justified? Yeah. But...
Yeah. I mean, not in all cases, obviously, but in this one...
Yeah, in this one, I think, yeah, definitely. I can't think of a more deserving person, really. But that's it. If you live a shit life, you have shit actions and then consequences. I mean, do all the actions you want in the world, but then don't start crying when there's consequences to them actions.
Yeah. And
karma's a bitch, and it will bite you in the ass.
100%.
Yeah. So
can confirm.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, Jesus. But yeah, so that was the horrific story of Ken Rex McElroy and his justified ? Murder.
Is that gonna be the tagline for the video? Is murder justified?
Yeah.
We're getting cancelled.
Yeah, I know. Hey, clickbait, innit?
I was gonna say I'm gonna try it anyway.
Yeah, clickbait. Fuck it. We need to stop working. I'll tell you that. You
need to start attending.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's I don't know. It's God, swings and roundabouts, isn't it? Stop working at that. You're gonna have to work harder here. Don't know which one's worse.
Oh, wow, thanks. I love you dearly as well. Belland. Speaking of douchebags.
Yeah, on that bombshell. That was the MO podcast with me, as always, Consummation Sam.
And me, Atreya.
Thank you so much for joining us. And we shall see you next time.
The MO podcast. The MO podcast. The MO podcast.